Welcome to Marseille and to Yachting Monthly's test of the Dufour 36 Performance. Standard layout on every boat, so there's an aft cabin, a forward cabin and stowage in that corner. There are no alternative layouts. Forward cabin has a double door, which I think works really well. It lets in so much light, it gives you a much better feeling of space. And in this instance it does mean, because it's a performance boat, it means you can hoik sails in and out much easier. Under here we've got a berth divider, which pops up in a complicated way. Like that, and then there's a cloth that goes in there and taped on up here to separate the cabin, so you know you could have sails on this side and someone sleeping on that side, or two people who perhaps don't know each other very well either side of that divider. Hanging locker there, shelf locker there, and then a couple of lockers just beneath them. Okay, here's the saloon, plenty of headroom as you can see, two 2-metre berths, the water tanks are under them, good grab rails there and there, LED lighting, and there's floor lighting as well, and there's a table which is a bit clever, that inverts to give you a sort of hot plate thing for your hot pots, and by undoing a couple of bolts, there are a lot of bolts on this boat, we can lift this out. Which turns that into a double berth. It's still theory at the moment because they need a fold-up flap from there and a fold-up flap from here to complete the berth, but that will turn into a double. There's a couple of bottle screws down here. If you want to do those, you can take the table out completely, should you wish to do so. I do like these hull ports, but I think these ones might be a bit low. Here's the galley. Good headroom, that's the only light. Unfortunately, good ventilation here, nice view. 2-burner stove under here, which gimbals well. This apparently is for weight saving, but I thought it might be good for cups of tea and bottles and so on. There's a sort of olive oil, wine type locker here. Big fridge, big top loading fridge with a rubber seal. Insulation looks pretty good too. And there's twin sinks here with a saltwater tap and a mixer tap. There's stowage out here, and these remove so you can do your cleaning. Another one there. There are bin lockers here with removable bins, which is quite nice. And then down on the facing panel there's an interesting cutlery drawer which also unbolts and comes out, and the bin locker here with twin sections. There's a recycling section and a rubbish section. Not much stowage, so it's handy that there are, under here and here, big stowage sections which don't get wet, apparently. There's also, if you need it, there's more stowage there. And pots probably belong here. That's the biggest storage space available to the galley. Here's the chart table, pretty decent size, usually wood, but they've gone for Corian this time. There's no stowage here, but that's where you put a plotter, and it kind of folds out so you can get a better view. A bit of stowage behind there. More here. Switch panel there. There's a switch here which moves the water from one water tank to the other, so you can use it almost like water ballast. These are quite nice. These that invert, give you somewhere to put your pens, and this folds down like that. If you're into your PC navigation, you can just clear the space there. there's a locker there. There's also storage space under, and there's a very nice idea here, which is canting nav seat. So depending on how far you're heeled, you can adjust the nav seat to match. Now here's the heads. This is in a bit of a funny position if chap was to go to the loo. Some mirrors outboard. This one does nothing. This one lifts a bit, and with yet another bolt, you can lock it out so that it stays about there, and you can actually see yourself if you're tall enough not to appear in the mirror, usually. Down below that there's a sink moulding with the hand shower there. Very good labelling on the seacocks, they're in there. Engine access panel there, somewhere to put your towels, bit of ventilation, and back here there's some giant stowage. Good headroom, one opening hatch there, there's another one here, so it's quite bright, especially on a day like this. At the end of the berth is a hatch that goes into the transom area, and that gives access to the rudder stock and the heading sensor and some other bits and pieces. Under here there's a lee cloth ready to go with straps that attach to fittings there. Bit of stowage just in that sort of basket arrangement on that side. Under here is a calorifier. There's the battery charger access panel there. Get to the back of the engine there. There's an alternator access panel here and battery switches. Split hanging shelf locker. There's no main light, but there are a couple of reading lights. Here's the cockpit. As you can see, it lives up to the sort of the performance billing. It's quite wide. You can have a table. There is one available. But these lockers here are removable. You just untwiddle a couple of knobs in there, and those carry off with the rope handles. Main seat's a German system. The winches are there, and there's a floor cockpit sole length traveller. Twin wheels, Lumar steering system, which is very nice. Lazarette here, which goes through into that big storage space in the starboard quarter. Got a single gas locker here. I suppose if you had a spare, keep it in the anchor locker. Bilge pump there. Cockpit shower. And over on this side you've got the engine controls. Back here we do have a bathing platform with its own ladder and a life raft locker under there. Moving forward, got nice tow rails, big stout tow rails like those. We weren't quite sure where you put a spray hood. Obviously it can't go across there, so we have to go right around the front, which makes it enormous, or just round the clutches and the garage, which is quite small. Handhold start here, so it's a bit of a lurch, bit of a leap of faith from the cockpit. Excellent shrouds, wide shroud base, short jib track there because it's a non-overlapping jib. Moving forward, there's an anchor locker here, which is very deep, built-in windlass with remote. There's a carbon spinnaker pole here which launches using this line and retracts using the tack line. Interesting new Facnor low profile furler which uses this webbing for half its length, or the length of furls at least. So that's there, and there's a removable bow roller which is back in the cockpit at the moment. Quite good to stay here in Marseille, Ile de Frioul there. Marseille's just over there, and we're out in the Dufour 36. And she goes, wow, I mean, she's not pretending to be a cruiser, it's definitely on the performance side. Sails are not standard, this has got some fairly high-tech Elvstrom ones. But you know, you can have cockpit tables, there are removable lockers in the cockpit, so you can take those out if you are feeling racy. It's a performance cruiser, is its relevance to us. And it's gone very well. It's maybe the top end of a 2, maybe a 3, and we were going upwind at about 28 degrees of apparent wind angle, 14 to 15 knots, making low to mid sixes in speed, so you know 6.5 knot, which is pretty special for a force 2. Flat seas, mind, that always helps. Coming off the wind a bit, 60 degrees, around sort of 8, 10, 12 knots of apparent wind speed, and anything from 6.3 to 7.2. So again, no slouch. She's got the T-keel, high aspect blade rudder. She's slippy, she's quick, she feels very good on the helm. Got a Lumar wheel, a Lumar steering system, and it feels great. There's no slack in it. It's exact, tiniest twitches, and it'll do exactly what you're telling it to. We didn't learn much about off the wind speed, because obviously there's not much of it. So as soon as we came down to broad reaching, we were getting maybe 5 knots of apparent wind, which is next to nothing, but we're still pushing along at about 4 knots. She's quick, but she wasn't difficult to handle at all. The helmsman can manage the main sheet and the traveller. The jib tacked easily. I tacked it twice. I didn't touch a winch handle, I just pulled it in. It's the beauty of a blade jib. She rewards playing around with, so fiddling around with backstays and out hauls. So she's not a sedentary cruiser, she's not a point and go cruiser. She does like a bit of tweaking. You want, she's great fun. So if you're thinking of a Beneteau First 35, or Arcona is probably a bit more luxurious, but we are looking at that kind of bracket of performance. She's very nice. Not like that.